Hi guys, I'm Rachel and this is my blog, The Sassy Flamingo, which I'm going to be doing book reviews on. So yeah, let's get started with the first one. The first book that I'm going to review for you all is called The Immortal Circus by Alex Collar. It's 239 pages long roughly, so it's not super long, but it's not super short either. It's a fantasy novel, which I'm really fond of. You guys will learn that, trust me. There will be a lot of them. Oh, I also wanted to say, for those of you who haven't read the book, I'm definitely going to be giving some stuff away, so you probably don't want to keep watching if you have not read the book and want to be surprised, so just a heads up. Okay, so basically the book throws us into the plot pretty quick, which was a little frustrating because we don't know much about her, but at the same time, it kind of makes sense as we move along. There's a death right away as well, which kind of brings into question the name, and you start wondering what's going on. Why is it called the Immortal Circus when people are dying? Which everyone's questioning, so it makes sense. It's good. It's good. In the middle, okay. Blah, blah, blah. In the beginning of the novel, somebody dies, and there's this really good quote that I liked, and I had to write it down because I'm not good at memorizing, but here's what it says. The long gash across her throat is a second smile leaking its secret into the ring. Pretty good. It's so brutal that you can immediately see that her throat's been slit, but at the same time, it's kind of like this beautiful description. Horridly beautiful is how I would describe that. Pretty good. There's that one really good line, and then everyone's kind of standing around still looking at the body, and somebody leans forward and touches it, and that's when the body disintegrates to ash and glitter. And that was really weird. I wasn't happy with that. I was really disappointed actually, because it reminded me of Twilight when Edward Cullen's skin kind of glitters. And I just thought that could have been a lot better. Like, why would somebody's dead body turn into glitter? Anyway, so that was a little disappointing, but it quickly moved on. And then we start learning a little more about Vivian, the main character. We learned her name is Vivian on page 10, which was also kind of weird because you're learning all these things about the circus and the people in it, but you don't find out the main character's name until page 10. I don't know why the author decided to leave it out, but he did until page 10. So just fair warning, that's what happened. On page 35 is when we learn that the circus is mainly consistent of fairy people, which is kind of a cool twist. I read Night Circus, which was a really good book, by the way. You should definitely read that. So, back on track. Okay, so these people are fae, and they are all in contract. And there's a lot of questions on that. I don't still understand why people are in contract, but it's just kind of an interesting idea. Pretty original. From page 33 to page 75, there's not a lot going on. It's just kind of a little bit of plot building, character building. There's another death, but he's not a main character, so it's not really sad. You're not really bummed that he dies, so it is what it is. But as we go along, we learn that Vivian has this big crush on this guy named Kingston. He's kind of a secondary character, I would say. He's really crucial to Vivian in the fact that she does have a crush on him. All he seems to do is like kind of talk to her and give her a little bit of attention, but other than that, he mainly just looks pretty and tells her a bunch of lies. And for me, from a woman's standpoint, I find that disappointing that this main character would have a crush on him. He's not deep, there's nothing to him, so it seems like a very shallow crush. But I may sound like I'm being nitpicky, but I did enjoy the book. It's a good read overall. The fight scene, especially towards the end, was really interesting with the way the characters were described and the different courts. I was really intrigued by the nightmare people, especially. I've got a really big thing for dreams, so the fact that that was incorporated, nightmares were included in the Unseelie court, for lack of a better term, but it's the darker court. Okay, and another thing is like I mentioned before, there are a lot of references to contracts throughout, and we don't really learn anything about the contracts. we just know that everyone who is a main part of the circus is under contract. Each individual person has their own contract, and the terms are only defined by them and Maeve. And some people know their terms, whereas Vivian does not, which is really unusual. And so it's kind of interesting, and you're learning about that, and you just want to ask all these questions and find out about everyone's contract, but you can't because it's all secret. Going back to that fight scene. Okay, so that's when we learn that Lilith is a demon. Well, that's when we officially learn that she's a demon. We kind of learned earlier than that Lilith is a demon when Vivian has the dream about the field lighting on fire. We learned that that's not actually a dream and that that did happen, that was a good twist. I appreciated that, and I kind of expected that, but at the same time, I was wondering if Vivian was going insane because we don't know anything about her. Like, maybe she's on drugs, maybe she's schizophrenic, maybe she's a demon herself, maybe she is Lilith and she's going crazy. So we don't know, and that was really nice to find out that Lilith does exist and people are actually looking for Lilith. The only thing I will say about this first book is there's a lot of questions unanswered. And so at the end, you're kind of left with all these mysteries unraveled still, and I just wish there would have been something else to kind of like tighten it up a little. But I'm really interested to see what book 2 brings, because the circus is still ongoing. It hasn't ended. We need to find out, is Maeve going to throw in a hook? Is she going to start a war? Is Lilith going to keep her demon powers under control, or will Vivian flourish and destroy Lilith? That's really a question. Vivian's relationship with Kingston, that's still on the fence too. We don't know what's going on there. She does seem to still have a really big crush on him there at the end. But I'm not sure he's trustworthy yet at all. So we're going to find out. But like I said, it's a good read. You guys should definitely check it out. It's not amazing. I've read better books. But it was a pretty unique idea, and it kind of reminded me of Cirque du Soleil. So let's see what book 2 brings.